Hey, how you doing? This is Iowa Hunter coming out here from the Rock and Bee. I managed to get down to the farm here today, and I just wanted to change out a few cards and see what we had. A little dry spell and a little wet spell could do. I never really got a chance to tell you about this screen I planted. I try all different products. I do use a lot of Whitetail Institute, but I tried some stuff called green screen, and I was a little worried about it, but now it looks like it's starting to pan out decent. This is the product right here. Green screen. Arrow seed. It's supposed to be like nothing the deer like to eat. It's kind of like it's supposed to be better than an Egyptian wheat. The deer's blowing at me over there. He don't want me in his food plot. Anyway, it'll grow up here. It says he's 12 foot tall. And I'll tell you, I was worried about this not growing at all because it got so wet. But that tape there, I know I'm shaky. It's about a foot tall. And you know, you don't want this stuff real close together. Like I said before, it'll choke it out. The deal is, my neighbor's property over here, nice guy and everything, but I want to hold the deer into this food plot over here. The deer in this Whitetail Institute clover and chicory and alfalfa 24/7. They never come out of it. That card and that camera's full every time I come down. Even one day out, it's like full. But so clear down from that far end down there, and then to the right of that fence, and then all the way up about 12 feet out, all the way where I'm at, all along this fence, 12 feet out. Of course, I got a low spot there, so it ain't gonna grow very good. And then you can see I left my disc for my Kubota UTV sitting there, and that's green screen right up to the left side of that disc. And then there's a small area to drive in the center. I put a little riprap in there. But that spot right in the center to drive, but down all the way down the left side of that driveway, when you're looking at it from here, from the top of the hill all the way down, is another 12-foot section of green screen, and it comes down past the trees right there and overlaps. So from the right to the left, they actually overlap. And this stuff's supposed to get so thick the deer can't even get through it. I mean, that's how thick it's supposed to get when it gets full grown, and they don't like to eat it. So you can actually channel the deer. Now, I'm not going to get really much growing on in here where this low spot is, but it's not really in danger of getting shot from nothing there. And they cross the field. Probably they'll be crossing it there more than anywhere else or in the woods. But then, you know, that's sitting right here on top of my Whitetail Institute food plot, which is killing it. I mean, I just mowed it the other day, and look at it. Everything's completely white again already. It's I couldn't ask for a better food plot than this. Also, I was worried about I put a barrier all the way to about 12 foot on the outside of this whole food plot down here of Whitetail Institute power plant. And I was pretty concerned about that because I thought for sure with all this rain it probably wasn't going to make it, because I put it in before we got all that rain, and I don't know. I got some growth in here. I'm sure some of it's grass. That's the first time I grew a power plant. This really low spot, I'm sure I'm not going to get nothing, but as I get up toward that corner up there, it's going to get better. And hopefully I can get some growth in here, which right now it doesn't look too good to me. But when I get up to closer to that corner up there, I got a lot better germination, and then probably all the way around I'm hoping I'll get more power plant. That'll help the deer feel safer and give them something else to eat in here. So we'll see what happens there. You know, you can only do so much, and the rest of it's Mother Nature. But you can't ask for no better food plot than this. I think you could flip the quarter anywhere in this plot that wouldn't hit the ground. It's just gone great, and I just started this real late last year. I'm going to take a walk up and check my upper food plot and check my water tank down here. I'm sure it's probably full. All right, I slipped in here to change out a carb. By the way, during the season in the spring like this is the type of area where the deer like to really bed at. There's beds all through here up in there. Bucks, they don't want anything really thick because their antler growth's new, and they're, you know, only a couple 100 yards from a food plot there, and they got a water source. So, you know, I kick them out once in a while when I come back in here, and he was blowing at me over there, but they'll come right back in here in this season. But they won't move to the real thick stuff right now. They want to stay in here, stay cool. That's where I get a lot of traffic. And I just want to show you, I had all that mud from digging this tank up, which incidentally, as you can see, is full to the brim from the rain. And the goldfish are in there somewhere. But all that throw and grow I put out here, the rye, and I don't know what all was in the oats or what, but it's all taken hold already, really pretty quick. And now we don't have a big mud hole anymore. You won't see the ground, so I tore up where the deer been at, but remember last time this was just all solid mud through here all the way around. See, we got all new growth, and that was just from throwing it on top of the ground and forgetting about it. And heck, that ain't been in there a week. And it's really taken hold for, I probably overseed it quite a bit. It's cheap. I just bought the bag and threw it all the way around the hole. Anyway, we need to get a couple more of these up on the top back area, so the deer can go from the bedding areas right into the food plots, and, you know, not going to be right in my lane. Of course, we'll have some mock scrapes up there later too, but I'm going to change some batteries out and start humping it to the back. In this season, it's too wet to be driving anything back there. I got a Kubota X1100C that I use to do all my planting. I got, you know, 4 or 6 acres, something like that, of food plots, and I bought a disc from UTV Hitchworks and had it put on, and, you know, it's got the hydraulic dump box in the cab, and it really tills it up. Works great for me, and I can get back in places you can't get with a tractor. You know, I'd like to have a bigger tractor someday, but right now I don't have, and I just don't go back here unless I'm walking. It's over a mile to get back in there, so I better get moving. Here's a good example of mowing clover. You know, if you watched my video the other day, I mowed this clover off. It was about 16 inches tall, probably 12 at the heavy part of the leaf, and I filmed this hillside here, and the grass was, oh, it was really tall. I mean, well, there's some still on the sides. You can see there. This whole hillside just looked like that. Just looked like a big hillside of brown grass. But we mowed the clover off. My neighbor did, and then the clover just takes over, and the grass stays down. The clover just choked it right out. I really didn't want to mess with this hill too much. I don't need it for food so much. It's got a deep root source, and it's on my crossing, so it helps hold the dirt. But I thought I'd go ahead and take that grass out of the top anyway. I see a thistle there I'm going to have to attack. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that. Just mowing it down can really knock down a lot of that broadleaf grass without even having to spray it like I did this field earlier in the year. Another thing here at the Rock and Beat, we concentrate on deer habitat a lot. We took down a lot of trees in here and we bucked them all up, and I think that's what got the deer through a lot of last winter. It was so cold they ate the bark off most all that trees that are bucked up and down. And look how thick this is. Now we got a lot of bottom ground, But we got a couple really high points too, but we got a lot of, this is just one finger, but we got a lot of these washouts and creeks that run up there. Matter of fact, there was a buck just sitting down in the bottom of one of them creeks blowing at me. He jumped up and up the other side. But just look how thick that is. And, you know, you can still get through it if you pick your path. A lot of it's just tall weeds and grass, but deer can be in here. And I know for a fact, I got them on camera. They dropped a lot of fawns down in here, and they'll get running around and use up your camera card in one day. They got so much energy, they just do circles. But I get a lot of help with all this stuff from my family, my son, my son-in-law, my nephew, my brother. Everybody's been down here working and helping clear trails and seed and weed and do a lot of stuff to help the place get better. And hopefully, you know, this is only our second year of having it, but we've sure done a lot of work. I mean, we don't have much equipment to work with. I rented a skid steer with the forestry head on it to do a lot of trails and clear that top 40 off for food plots, but it's all starting to pay off now. There's tons of deer in here. Cards are full on about every camera every couple of days. Anyway, we'll go up top, and I just want to show you what kind of deer habitat is around here. It's just, deer just love this. And then you put some really healthy food plots in like we're doing, good water stations, and you can hold them right in here. All right, let's go up top and see what's going on up there. Hopefully that Alpha Rack Plus is kicking in. All right, on the way out to the back here, I want to stop and show you I planted that green screen up that hill over there. Then there's a big ditch. And then along this fence here. And then all the way down. And it's been a good 12 inches too. And you can see the tops of it as you go down. If you keep going down that trail and keep going across the ditch, you'll end up down at my other food plot. But my neighbor's property to the right here over this fence, nice guy, I get along with him and everything. I just like to have a buffer in here to keep these deer. You know, I don't really hunt this area down in here much. I need some sanctuary areas for the deer, you know, so I like to put this up here and just put a buffer strip in here so this guy can be doing whatever, and, you know, keeps them, you know, hanging nice and tight here on my property. Anyway, I gotta get across this washout that I got in here, but I know Whitetail Institute makes a product too called Conceal, and I may try that next year. You know, I'm just gonna keep experimenting with some different stuff, and sometimes I think some of these guys that use all the same product, I think it's a little fishy because they say they're not getting any kickbacks from anybody, but I gotta think some products, you know, are better with, you know, whether it's oats or, you know, something to buffer strips or clover or whatever, you know, you got your types. I've had some pretty good luck with Whitetail Institute, but, you know, I'm going to try everything I can. I'm going to put up a couple test plots next year and put cameras on and do a side-by-side comparison. All right, I'm just coming into the first branch of several food plots up here. And this is the first year that anything's been planted in this. This was all grown up woods and had to be, used a forestry head and, you know, killed it several times and whatnot. And I threw Whitetail Institute pure clover in here, and thought it was kind of light. It grew there for a month or so, and then I reseeded it because a lot of the spots with water in it, there still are some because we've had more water since then, but was not growing. But she's definitely taken off now for a first year clover plot. Not very far in. Planted on May 12th, I believe. I go back on my video where my phone will look, but 12th or the 14th. I don't recall right now, but I got a little spot here where the water's pooled up. It's really looking good up here. And this is all going to branch way out, but look at that. As we get up in this bigger hillside, I'll film some more up there. That's all Alpha Rack Plus up there, but this is all new growth this year. It's really starting to take off good now. I'm really impressed. We're going to bring in a lot of deer this year and put a lot of healthy meat on them. Now, the way this field lays out here to the right, we just came from the whitetail clover down there, is all the way around the outside, 12-foot strip of power plant, starting right at the stick, going that way. There's some that came across this opening here too. We thought I'd throw some cover up in there. And then this is all Alpha Rack Plus on this whole side. Chicory, white clover, and some different alfalfas. And once again, I don't really see the power plant coming in. I mean, it's been in there in plenty of time. I don't think it's a problem with Whitetail Institute. I think it's a problem with all the rain. I don't think it liked all that rain. Who knows, maybe it'll pop up. I got some other areas in my land where I think we'll find out it's doing all right, but as far as this Alpha Rack Plus in here, I overseeded it about a week ago because of the rain. Just threw it out, broadcast it out on top with my bag spreader. And yeah, it's the first year. We got a little grass in here, but when that clover and everything gets going on in here, she's going to take off and choke everything out. There's a lot of clover up here, and chicory and alfalfa. Tell you what, for our first year plot from sticks, and well, you can still see some of the sticks laying out there from being brush hogged and sprayed and limed and fertilized. I'm real satisfied with this food plot. That 360 Innovations camera is full. I can't leave it out here 2 days and it's full. It's spinning all the time. There's a lot of turks back here though. Tons of them. And it is moggy huggy out. A lot of humidity. It feels like a bog. I got my camel back on, so I'm staying plenty hydrated. We'll check out the other plots. I went back in and checked, and everything was planted on Sunday, May 12th. That would have been Mother's Day. So we ain't had it in here that long for the action we're getting out of here already. And I'll tell you, with that cam there, I was seeing the deer over on the right in the grass and over in the center area. Last time I checked that card, they were out here, and this stuff wasn't near this tall. I mean, this is not tall yet, but it was just coming out of the ground, and the deer were grazing all over out here. And turkeys galore. I don't know why they like the top of this hill so much, but they like that brush pile. I'm going to go over here and check out my conceal. That area over there goes to another farm, and I just set up and planted, not concealed, but all my other stuff in there. I'm drawing a blank right now. But it was growing everywhere else, so I'm hoping it's green screen, yeah. I'm hoping it's growing over there. Alright, here's another area over by one of my lot lines. I used that green screen all the way from that draw down by the fence up this direction. all along here, past that gate and clear on over that hill and down the other hill. And it's going. I don't think it's going as good as the other stuff was. But we got some in there, you know, 10 to 12 inches. So, and it gets more thicker as we go up this direction. So I think we'll be all right. We'll just give it some time, and who knows, it may end up getting 6 to 12 foot tall still. We'll see what happens. Hopefully keep this food plot over here all sealed in nice so they don't get scared when they see something driving off in the distance. This is all Alpha Rack Plus up here. I'm sure there's some weeds up here too. I'll probably slay them out at the very end of this year. I might even wait till next year. See how this comes along. But in this area here, I call it the crack between two fields that I put through with the machine. I put that Antler King in here with rapeseed in it, and it popped right up like crazy. I mean, quicker than anything, and the deer come right in on it, and you can see how big some of the leaves are. And it's supposed to be a rapeseed that grows over the clover, and you can see some clover down there. No, that's not clover, but when I see it with my eye, then I can't find it in my camera, but there's some. But this rapeseed popped up, and the deer were on it. They liked eating it. There's not that much clover that I can see. And as soon as, wasn't too long after the sun came out, it was up, you know, for a while, and everything else started taking hold a little bit. They walk through on my camera, and they don't touch this stuff. I don't know, they must not like the taste of the rapeseed and the clover's so small, it's, you know, it's not worth them coming in here, I don't think. They travel through here. You know, you can see prints there. They scrape off this tree. I'll be putting artificial rub in here, you know, or artificial scrape, but they just don't like to eat it. So I probably won't get this again. I mean, that's my experience. I got it on camera. They just turn their nose up to it and walk through. It'll stay here this year, and I'll probably plant it in next year with something, or I may put some turnips in here this year or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens later this year. We'll figure that out here in another month or two. Let's go around and see what my chief is doing. Now the rest of that, I had 2 small bags of Antler King. I'll put some back in this corner here before that chufa down there. Same thing, you got a lot of rapeseed growing around, and man, you really gotta look good to find the clover. If you're planning on that rapeseed being covered for that clover, you're gonna have a long wait, especially when you look down there at that Whitetail Institute clover. Alright, this is the first time experience. I planted a chief on this back here, and the other day I was filming, I didn't even know what the heck to look for, but now I do. And if you see this right here, that'll be chufa. And what happens is it gets a nut down underneath there. And chufa is a plant, if you look at the stem, it actually has like a triangle stem to it. Like a 3-sided stem. Oop, I'm not going to pull it because I'll let it grow. I mean, I don't look like I got it in here thick or nothing, but it's taken in here and there, here and there. So, you know, we'll wait and see what happens, but it's growing all up through here. The way I hear about it is this little patch of chufa right here probably ain't gonna do much as many Turks as I got. if you got a good chufa plot here, it'll look like a bomb field. They just dig holes all over it. Then we have to see what we come up with and see what they like. They've been out there in the Alpha Rack Plus every day bedding in it for some reason. And they're even very tall. But it's definitely taken. We'll see what happens. And I'll disc up some nuts and let them know what's going on later and let the turkeys have at it. This whole couple acres on this whole side over here, I planted Whitetail Institute power plant. And it held a lot of water up here where I'm standing right now. And it's got some growth, but I don't know, it's not knee high by the 4th of July or anything. And I'm not exactly sure what everything in power plant looks like. I do have a lot of new growth, but we'll have to wait and see. I just don't know. This might all turn into big and beastie or tall tine tubes or something before it's all over with. We'll have to see what happens. That other area back in the back, I was using the power plant. It was grown pretty much right off, but it's a lot more sheltered in this area, so we'll see when we get back in there. This still might turn out, I don't know. All right, this whole area back there, all the way from those trees right there this way, was all planted in Whitetail Institute clover. And it didn't take very good. Really, really wet in this area. I came back in and overseeded it with Alpha Rack Plus. And don't get me wrong, it's gonna be here. It just didn't grow quite like the stuff in the first field. Now the stuff back there, it took off good, but on this trail area, it was just too wet, I think. But being that I overseeded all that new growth, look at that right there. All that new growth is going to be coming up. I hear a deer stomping around back here. He was really stomping. This is way more clover back in here. Did a lot better. And Alpha Rack Plus now. The deer love it. This little section right here, they're in here continually. Behind me, that ridge is high. It's a high travel area between fields and bedding areas. Bedding area behind me. I'll be putting an artificial water hole right behind there in a little down spot between them trees. And I got another food plot back through those trees, so perfect area for a stand and a mock scrape. We'll be doing good this year. I'll go back over and check my other field. Trying to move in here easy. That little last clover field, I kept hearing that deer stomping. Unusually loud, and I was changing my card out on my camera, and I seen the grass wiggle, and there was a fawn hiding back behind my camera. I never spoke to that. I was careful and backed out of there, but I seen them deer up here in this power plant field already from back there, so I was just giving them a chance to move out of there a little bit before we slide up through there. Man, really, stuff has grown up so thick. You wouldn't even know you had a deer trail, but the deer's bedding all over the ridge everywhere. Like I said, they're not bedding too far from the food plots right now. And not where it's really super thick. The branches and stuff. Maybe they'll stay cool. Stay away from the bugs if I can. Don't damage their velvet with the bucks anyway. I don't know how many beds I crossed over on this ridge. The artificial water hole I'm going to put in is going to be really beneficial for that area. Because I'll have it all right here. Bedding areas off the north side. Food plots. Water. This power plant popped right up now. When I put it in, because I've never planted it before. Popped up pretty fast and kind of just stayed where it's at right now for a little while. I don't know, I suppose it's 8 inches tall in some spots. Big old tall clover. Heard turkey flying. Looks like I got some grass growing in here too. I killed this off several times too, but this was just pure grass before I started. So I don't know. I see a lot of growth. Some of it looks like beans or peas, and some of it's grass, and some water hemp. I'm not sure what a sunflower looks like quite this young, but this all came up after I put the seed in. Popped up fairly quick and germinated. So I think we'll be all right in here. This is pretty heavy with deer. They cross through here all over the place. That's what I like that little X1100C Kubota RTV for. You can't get back in here and disc all this up with a big old tractor. Just get the boom sprayer, fold it all up, come back here on a little trail just wide enough for the machine to get back here and do your work and get back out of here. I hand seed everything with my bag spreader. I want to change some more cards out and we'll go see if I have my green screens working on this hillside. Yeah, looking back at this area from the other side, all that power plant, that's going to be doing all right back here, I think. I believe we're going to be Jim Dandy back here. Then this just opens up into regular grass. And I got a strip of blocker over there, buffer strip. All right, here we are on another fence line. And over to the left over here, that splits off into a couple, 2 or 3 fingers of power plant. And it's a ways away from the fence. It ain't right next to the fence or nothing, but like I said, my neighbor over here, he's a good guy and everything. He don't hunt the fence or nothing, but I like the deer to feel secure, so I put a row of green screen down here. And you can see it's coming in. You know, it's got some bare spots like here where too much water sat. But down here at the mouth, It's more important anyway. Just coming in here. All through here. A little shorter than my stuff down below. But still, it's coming up. You put them all together when they get a possible 12 feet tall, which can be thick. And then my food plot's over there. So the deer are there or out in this little meadow here, they'll feel a lot safer tucked back in here. You know, it's all about being back here and being concealed. And I chose to use that green screen this year. Tough year with the water, but it's I think it's held up. We'll see what happens later on in the year. If that's all the taller it gets, it won't be that good, but I can't blame much any seed this year with that amount of rain we got at the beginning of the year. Look at that, the deer even slipping. All right, I'll slide on down here by where my future pond might be. Check that camera out. I haven't talked much about cameras. I have quite a few. This camera here is a Covert. I just bought it, and it was on sale. It wasn't real expensive. It's like 70 some bucks, but they're generally like 170, 180, but they're closing out on them. My nephew, who's a fish and game officer, at their job they use Covert, but they're a higher brand, way more expensive. They're Bluetooth. You don't have to go up to the camera. It just loads right into your computer or your phone when you get close to it, so you don't have to climb a tree or whatever, and you can clear your cards out, which I'm not going to be affording that. I think back in that finger, my son had bought me a Spec Ops camera that was fairly expensive for my birthday or something, and that was a real nice camera. I'm using up there on that plot, one of them. I have a few muddies that are cheap. Matter of fact, two of them I had in a bucket. They're supposed to be in my Kubota, and somehow it got set out, and with the rain, they were underwater. But we're talking, $50 cameras, maybe at the most. But they don't take the great pictures. They got to be fairly close. I'm sure they make a better camera, but I've had most of my best luck. And I'm not saying it's the best camera, but I've used Brownings. I had a cheap one to begin with, and it caught a hawk in mid-flight. Perfect focus, just flying in front of the camera. And so I've kind of stuck with Browning, and I've moved up to some more expensive ones, and I'm real happy with them. Except I use the 360s for my plot watching cameras. I don't think you can beat those until something else comes out. But anyway, this is Iowa Hunter from the Rockin' Bee. We're gonna hump it up on out of here and call it a day. Hope we can give you an update on these food plots as they go along, the different types and brands of seed, and maybe have some deer up on some photos later off the deer cam, and you can see what the different plots are bringing in. Anyway, for now, happy hunting and have a blessed day.